One other thing prayer does is that it brings the presence. And when the presence of God is on a man's life, that man is literally a God to his generation. Christianity is not a religion. It's a divine strategy for expressing divinity through humanity. Every one of us here that calls ourselves Christians, the least we should manifest to our world is God. That's our destiny. But there are spiritual dynamics for making it happen. Prayer is not just about answers. It's a mystery in the spirit. It's a mystery. And one of the things that mystery makes available to you is the voice of God. Another mystery makes available to you is the presence of God. Believers need to know these things. And if they know it, they stay there. Today, things happen to people and things just happen to them at will. And then you find people running up and down, stranded, not knowing what to do. It ought not to be so. In a foreign land, Daniel was superior to everybody because he carried the presence. That presence made him to become superior to the nation where he dwells. Things shouldn't happen to you on your job. Things shouldn't happen to you in your school. Carry something that makes even your lecturers to be afraid of you. Today you find many gullible Christians, either girls or boys, being malhandled by lecturers just because they don't carry something. When you carry that glory, you will be amazed. Today people go just because they are bidding for contracts. They get them to do unspeakable things just because they are looking for that contract. If you carry the presence, the person giving that contract would have recognized it. And you wouldn't go there to beg. You wouldn't have been put under terrible conditions to make you compromise to get what you should have commanded. It is the lack of the presence that makes us become victims to our world. What does prayer do in order to confer dominion? Prayer brings us the presence of God. When you are walking under the cloud of the presence, you become invincible. This was what Israel carried that made them constantly and continually dominate nations. Only Joshua fought 44 battles and won all. Because when the Shekinah is coming, the nations are terrified. God said, I have put your dread on the nations. So they are literally paralyzed before Israel comes. So even if Israel were using stones, they will win you. If they are singing, they will win you. If they just run through you, they will win you. What kind of power is that? It's the presence that confesses it. And that's why when God said, my presence will not go with you, Moses said, we will not move from here. We know that the secret of our victory is not wisdom. The secret of our victory is not our expertise in the art of war. The secret of our victory is what we carry. If that thing is gone, we become weak and vulnerable before the nations. If you don't come with us, we will not depart from here. How come you have walked all your life without the presence? That's why it looks as if you are a victim. It looks as if the things you profess are a lie. It ought not to be so. When you begin to culture the art of prayer, you discover that gradually the presence of God begins to grow in you. It begins to grow in you. The first thing you notice is that you become more conscious of God. It brings you into a realm of higher sensitivity. And then you just start knowing things. And then the second thing it does for you is that it brings you audacity of faith. The things that causes men to fear, causes men to tremble. When those things happen, you just make a statement and did I say that? You begin to command. You will be shocked that you said certain things. And because you said it, God will confirm it. And after a while, men will know that you are not ordinary. This is the destiny and the fate of every believer. If you don't carry this level of authority, wisdom and favor, how can you fulfill your destiny? How can you affect a generation? How can you affect a nation? How can you affect nations? Do you know the complexities involved in affecting a nation, let alone many nations? Meanwhile, all of you seated here, your destiny is to affect not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but many nations. This is why you cannot come out as an ordinary person. There is something you've got to carry. That when you speak, it goes viral. When you start selling something, it goes viral. When things are failing, you touch it, it begins to work. And men, we know. How many of you heard the story of Elon Musk? Twitter was failing. They said their returns was below standard. They were contemplating on what to do. The man came, he didn't negotiate. I give you $44 billion. I'm not adding anything, I'm not taking anything. The people couldn't sleep anymore. They came and met him to sell it. If the guy talks about a crypto coin, it becomes viral. So sometimes the way he has fun is to talk about things. They told me a story last year. He bought a dog. And because he called the dog Shiba, a coin called Shiba suddenly skyrocketed. He wasn't even talking about coin. He just called his dog Shiba. The moment he said Shiba, people went and started researching. What is Shiba? What is Shiba? Immediately, in 24 hours, hundreds of thousands of people began to buy a coin. Just because somebody didn't even mention it, but he called the name. It went viral. You think they are ordinary people? There is something they carry. When they come into a room, they take over that room. When you are gathered and they show up, they dominate everybody. And you are wondering, what kind of people are these? When they talk, people become scared because of the presence they carry. Every believer ought to carry a measure of that presence. When you walk into a room, you cannot not be noticed. When you speak, it cannot just be ordinary words. Everything you do will catch the attention of men. Because there is a presence you carry. That presence you carry is what amplifies you. That's what puts an impression in the heart of men. That this guy is not ordinary. Tell somebody, I refuse to be ordinary. I refuse to be ordinary. I'm sharing this thing so that when you go to pray, you know what to focus on. Before now, when I teach on prayer, I ascend so high that when I'm talking, people can't sit, but they are not learning anything. Somebody came and told, I think it was Pastor Victor, how can he speak in tongues like Apostle Mike? What has my kind of tongue got to do? Is that the focus? And then if you are speaking in tongues and you are walking like this, every other young person begins to speak in tongues and walk like that. When you are speaking in tongues and you are doing like this, they begin to speak in tongues and do like, and they are not commanding result because they don't know what to focus on. That thing that person is doing is the posture he has attained in the spirit. You press until you find yours. And when you find yours, it will not be about the posture. It will be the fact that the presence have come.